Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. My name is Groggy Dog. I'm here with Demon R, HK, Frighteeth, and Shadowed Flames. We are in for a very quick and exciting night of the Final Fantasy Fall League. We are in Week 2. This is the first night of Week 2. We're so glad that you could join us. We've got 4 great runners on screen. Cyranus with Breakfast, Wappy103 with Trash Island Fire Department, Cheesenator with the Cheese Fries, and Chadbert with Center for Competitive Fortifitting. Hello, Demon RHK, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you very much for asking yourself.
I'm doing great, thanks. Can you walk us through the flags before we get started here in just a couple minutes?
Oh, absolutely. So you're all in for some exciting ones. So this one we are co-opting the free enterprise style of seeds from our Final Fantasy IV brethren. The main differences you're going to see between a normal Final Fantasy randomizer seed and this, there will be no random overworld encounters. They are turned off completely. It is bosses, it is trap tiles, and that is all you are getting. In addition to this, we have got all of our items free in the world. However, we do have free access to the ship. We have free access to the bridge. We have free access to the canal. And we have free access to the airship right off the start of the game. So all the overworld movement you will ever want, right there for you. However, as a trade-off, one of our key item locations is going to be a dud. We have many of our different key item locations that are up for tonight. One quick second. So for tonight, on top of all of our normal NPC and fetch quests, we are going to be looking at Ice Cave Ordeals, Marsh Cave, the unlocked variant, Titan's Trove, as well as the Earth Cave and Volcano are all going to be incentivized, as well as actually the locked portion of Marsh Cave as well. So basically, our runners are going to have no problems getting through dungeons, but they're going to be looking for that one grind tile, Groggy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is all about minimum viable party. People are going to be making a lot of quick decisions on the fly, especially as you start off with the airship. There are a lot of places that you can go early, and you're going to want to prioritize not just how many chests can I check in the least amount of time possible, but also what's going to be the biggest benefit to my team, how quickly can I get up to level to deal with some potentially really nasty bosses, especially in a required war mech and those Temple of Fiends, Revisited Fiends. And so I think we've got some great party diversity to showcase that. Now, we do have all black belts on screen tonight. We have 3 rainbows on top of that, and then we've got Wappy down at the bottom right, running just a red mage and a black mage. I don't hate that play. I think it is a little bit of a risk because you really want life magic going into Topher, and there's always the chance that you get locked out with a red mage or a red wizard. But having 3 members instead of 4 really speeds up that grind and can make it a little bit easier to deal with things.
Oh, absolutely. That's just exponential splitting that XP 3 ways instead of 4. You can't blame it with the black belts. No overworld encounters where the black belt's abysmal run rate's going to, come back to bite you. Mm-hmm. Not to mention, like you had mentioned, that required war mech. Our robot chicken friend will be standing in the way every time you try to go. And trust me, it is worse than Tiamat trying to get through that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wappy definitely going to be trying to represent Trash Island Fire Department. I believe is in a comfortable first place going into Week 2. So he's got a little bit of pressure on his shoulders to keep that going. We are going to be dropping here pretty soon. Again, we are on a 10-minute delay as per the tournament rules. So our runners are 10 minutes ahead of us right now. But we will be seeing them drop, like I said, any second now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Groggy, what are you hoping to see coming off as it looks like we're jumping in right now?
There we go. All right, so first things first, we see Cheesenator already forgoing. Oh, wow, some great white magic. Life 2, Fade, learnable right off the bat. Lock 2 and Warp, so nothing great in terms of black magic right off the start. Lock 2 is going to be really useful, but that white magic is outstanding. And Wappy's choice to go black belt, red, black is already paying off. Cheesenator did an interesting strategy, which is to go over to Matoya's Cave right away, get a little bit more money, perhaps, maybe a useful item, which I think we're going to see a number of our runners go and do something similar. As we see gold bracelets plus 4, only 24,000 there in the original. That's great. Yeah, I think, Cardia Island is a possible place where our runners could fly to, just to get some money, some items. Did I see the crown on sale for 155 in the item shop, too? That is maybe the lowest that I've ever seen an incentivized item roll.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've already got most of our runners heading up to this free garland with nothing in the way. Now, many of these runners, you're going to see them run up here rather than take the airship, because after they talk to Princess Sarah, they're going to get warped back to the castle, and it's really awkward to have to go all the way back up to Topher to hoof it to your airship.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we are also seeing a little bit of a divergence. Some runners choosing to check the chests there in Temple of Fiend, some not. It's a good amount of gold, it's about 7,000 gold. And then the King and Princess Sarah are going to give us the Chime and TNT. So we've already got a number of early checks, and especially in the Inner Sea, available to us between the Crown, Marsh and Marshallocked, and then TNT. So we're already... This is where I think Free Enterprise gets really interesting for runners, because you already have so many places that you could go. I think obviously we're going to see people go like Cyrenus just did, make quick work of Provoca and the pirates there. With each incentive item, you get plus 20% to your EXP gain, and so it is vital that before you get too far out there in the world, you get absolutely as many items as you can. And that's a pretty free one in Provoca with Fade at level 1 on your red and white mage. Even with the poor black magic, you can pretty well make up for that probably any moment here. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. With all of our runners running Rainbow right now have 2 Fade casters, since that Fade and Life 2 are both not locked out to the Red Mage here. So they're just going to be going straight through with a lot of room to clear here. Like you said, you definitely want to pick up all the key items you can. Now, 2 items that we did forget to mention for you so far, you're going to be wondering, what are all these pluses and minuses besides your items? So every item has a buff or a penalty to basically its absorb or its defense rate, as well as its critical hit rate for weapons, as well as its damage rate, as indicated with the pluses and minuses beside each item. That's going to range from 1 to 5 for pretty much everything you're going to see here.
Yeah, thanks for explaining. That's one of many great flags that we have on the randomizer. It's come into popular use, I think, in the last 6 months or so, where we saw it go from a beta flag to the live site, and so we're getting a lot of good use out of it. Now, not too much doing in terms of white or black magic in Provoca. That Quake is going to be fun, Ice 2 maybe, but otherwise nothing as exciting as we get on Canaria. I think what we're going to be looking for at this point is where are Fast and Temper. We haven't seen any of our Black Belt Rainbow parties go, and yeah, there it is. It looks like Black Magic level 3 has Fast. I think that's your cue if you're running Black Belt Rainbow, to just go ahead and burn Mage and run Belt Red White. We get the Horn, which is the loot. That's another flag for our runners, where they can change the loot into one of any random musical instruments. So if you see something like that, that's what it's just the loot.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, level 2, not the most exciting, especially for our on-stream runners all running Black Belt, but anyone who might be running a fighter in their party, very happy to see that level 2 ruse pop up in case we get some nasty surprises inside Topher.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I missed what Astos gave Wappy down in the lower right. We do have a question in chat. What's the deal with the Red Mage's spell list? Yeah, so it's based on where the spell lands in the actual magic shop. So if they could learn the first and the third slot in Canaria, it'll be the same regardless of what the spell is. So luckily for our runners, both Fade and Life 2 are learnable by Red Mages, no promotion needed, really. And Karant helping me out. Astos has the bottle, and we see that our dear friend Narek has the ruby, and Titan is incentivized, so that's helpful. We're getting a ton of early checks. Sometimes you play these seeds and you get some of the, not dud items, but you get, the power bonk, you get Vorpal, you get defense, whatever, and while those are obviously useful endgame, they don't help too much with progression, but our runners are getting a lot of early items that are going to help them out, and like I said, bump that EXP 20% each time.
Yeah, absolutely. None of our runners on stream is going to be happy to see it, but the Katana, it wasn't Cardia, so it did roll +2, so anybody in this race that may have a Thief is going to be very happy to see that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I can't imagine anyone is running a Thief, just because, like, what are you running from? Pretty much all the spike tiles you're going to be intentionally engaging with. We do have shuffled spike tiles. I don't think we've seen it yet. We do have shuffled spike tiles, which means that it could be any number of things. We also have what are called B-side spike tiles, so we can get some really nasty encounters, but what that also means is that you can get some really high EXP encounters in places where you normally wouldn't expect to see them. And so now that we've started to see it, we get a canoe out of Titan, so every single place is open to us at this point. They can go wherever they want. We're going to see some really wild route divergence, and I think this is going to be a pretty quick seed if I had to guess. But I think that's what runners are going to start looking for, okay, how can I get equipment? We already know where the gold bracelet is, which really helps, so that's going to be great for all our mages. That's going to be just fine. And then where can I get maybe a weapon for my red mage, but mostly just like where am I getting pro ring, things like that. Yeah, we see Wappy and Cheesenator both kind of high-fiving here in Earth 1. This is a great place to get 3 spike tiles to check for those grinds, but they don't like what they see. They're going to go ahead and head on out.
Yeah, unfortunately, their first drop tile within the Hall of Giants to the left-hand side on the outside is going to be Frost Gators with Lays. That is not something you want to see here. Now, one last thing we remember here. Unfortunately, the free enterprise flags, a bunch of flags you're probably used to, specifically the early Sarda, the early Sages, and the early Ordeals are all turned off. That means in order to get the item from Sarda, you have to get through Vampire. In order to get the item from the Sages, you have to kill Lich. And you have to have the crown, which thankfully for us isn't a problem, in order to get inside Ordeals.
Yeah. Ooh, and there we go. The third eye grind tile is down there, Wappy, in the ice cave, making a great play. Now, here's the thing. I might actually hold off of this. This is a very easily accessible grind tile. And while this is going to be good for some levels now, I wouldn't want to grind just too much just yet. The more items you get, the faster you're going to go. I'll be kind of curious to see how far Wappy goes with this, and just maybe he says, I'm just going to grind this a bunch whole right now. But they don't seem to be causing him too much of an issue. You might just kind of, get a few levels now and then come back for it.
Yeah, I grab a couple right now. I mean, you might as well maybe take up to the 10, maybe 15 range. It's only going to take you 2 or 3, maybe 5 fights max.
Gonna get the crystal from Ice Cave. So again, all these early checks really paying off for our runners. It looks like Wappy's gonna go ahead and position the Black Mage up front, so he has the higher probability to be hit, gonna take some damage, and try and knock down to just the Red Wizard and the Black Belt, make that EXP share more focused on them, and speed that leveling process.
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you, maybe newer to the randomizer or not a big fan of behind the math, your first slot has a 50% chance of getting whacked, your second slot has a 25, and then your third and fourth both share a 12.5% chance of getting targeted with any attack that comes in.
Thank you for being the math guy, because I'm most certainly not. I mean, we're already getting 8,000, and Wappy is at the 8.5 minute mark, already level 20 across the board. That is expedient. This is such a great grind tile. Cyrannus is going to find it, and he's going to be equally happy. Cheesenator, on the other hand, making what I think is a fine play, even without the key, going to Marsh. Obviously, not probably the best play right now, given that we know what's in Ice. And we're going to see, nothing too much. Arachnids and Mucks on the spike tile there, kind of hoping that they don't do anything nasty. Oozes.
Yeah, Saren is checking, finding that eye tile as well. Going to be very happy to see that. Now, you're going to see a little bit difference in the leveling speed here. Again, 4 members versus 3 members. Even with some key item differences, it's going to be huge in just the amount of XP and the amount of fights you have to take to get those levels quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it's going to mean that Wappy's going to want to get his 3 fighters a little bit higher than some of the other runners. But I think that, ultimately that's going to be very doable for him. He has one check that he knows is going to be a pretty quick one. We see Chadbert in the upper left representing my team, the Center for Competitive Forfeiting. He's making sort of an interesting play. He went to Earth first. Now, I did miss what he got into Earth. He's going there right now for the Earth check. So he's going to have to warp back out unless this is the Rod.
Yeah, there's always that chance this is the big brain Rod play. This is what you always want to see when you're making that early Earth gamble in this kind of a seed. Yeah.
Now, Matoya is going to give us the tail. Runner's not going to use that until much later, I think, once they're done grinding, because the Black Belt's defensive growth, MDef growth, is better than the Master's MDef. So no reason to promote until you're done. Gonna get the Adamant from that Earth chest, though, so Chadbert's either gonna have to walk that back out or warp, depending on how many charges. Plenty of charges, though, it is level. We see Wappy going on to Volcano. Probably not going to skip right past the Armory. Again, you really get to choose, what is the minimum viable setup for me and my fighters in this kind of flag set. I think that Wappy is really pushing it already. Now, Chadbert is going to turn that vampire kill into a chime. I think that was from Sarda. Again, if you have only ever played vanilla Final Fantasy 1, then you're thinking like, oh, so I have to kill the vampire to get that. But for most randomizer runners, you get used to being able to go to Sarda or the Crescent Lake Sages or even Ordeals whenever you want, because those flags are usually a given. And so it can be one of those things that trips you up a little bit if you're not paying attention. And Wappy is going to give us a look at 2 more spike tiles here in Volcano, as well as potentially going to go ahead and kill Carrie now. I can't imagine that at his levels he's not going to give it a shot. But we're also going to see this incentive location as well.
Yeah, we're going to get the incentive location. We're going to go ahead and knock Carrie out of the park here with our newly gained eye levels. It looks like that Chatterbird did go ahead and turn in that vampire kill, got the cube to solve out along with the chime from, I believe it was the King or Sarah, in order to solve our sky problems. Yeah. But unfortunately, Sky has a robot infestation, so probably going to be off the table for a little while.
Yeah, and Cyranus finds out the hard way that unfortunately the fairy only has a dud, just a pure. As we see the defense -4 over there in Volcano. That's fine. Probably not going to be swinging the defense sword with anyone anyways. Slab is found there in Marsh as well. And we're going to see Wappy at 11, just shy of 12 minutes, pull Carry. This is really impressive so far. It's just absolutely burning up this map. And shout out to our trackers, Bright Teeth and Shadow Flames. They are getting a workout tonight with these very quick flags and some extremely diverse paths so far. So well done. Question in chat from Gustav K22. All the mobs encountered are bosses, correct? Not quite. So bosses are going to make up a good part of the encounter table. Yes, on their usual locations, but also any spike tile, a tile that is where when you step on that tile you are guaranteed an encounter. Those still exist. It's only the overworld and dungeon random encounter that are not going to be plaguing our runners tonight.
Wappy is unfortunately down a black belt, and his hat will have to wipe out. Interesting, yeah, and I think you always run that risk with this kind of flag set and these levels. You definitely hope that it's not going to be an issue, but you just never know. Any fiend can be that kind of just horribly annoying fiend for you. Usually it's Kraken or Tia 2 or Warmech, but Carrie can absolutely pull that as well. Level 4 Cure 4 for our white magic, that's nice to see.
Is there a flag for randomizing boss locations? I believe there is on the Alpha website. Don't quote me on that. At the very least, I know it's been discussed, but I believe there is one in Illig.
Yes, there is a flag that will randomize which fiend shows up in which dungeon, but that one is not going to be enabled for us here, and I don't know if it's going to be enabled for any of our seeds throughout the fall league. But it is definitely one that, in case you want to pull Lich and instead run into a nice big Kraken.
Yeah, it seems like we've got a lot of sort of new folks to our community tonight, so welcome to everyone. Please do. I'm going to go ahead and try and ping the Discord. I don't know if this will work. No, it's not. That's the RPG and Brick Discord. I'll try and get a link to our Discord here in there in just a second. We would love to have new folks. We have the Duckling Pond just for beginners, and a lot of discussion going on. There we go. Thank you so much, Danny, who is helping put on this tournament. Really appreciate it. So yeah, if you're interested in this, come say hi. We'd be happy to help you out and chat and get you to learn the ropes.
Looks like we got some high five going on here on Earth between Cyranus and Wappy, both going down to kill their vampire, and they're going to pick up their adamant out of the chest here.
All right. Meanwhile, Cheesenator pulling up Carrie. Let's see if this goes differently. Does have the black belt there in the second spot, so less chance that it gets hit than the black mage. Going good. That blaze coming out from Carrie, doing a good amount of damage, but not nearly enough. Already casted the fast on the black belt. Get the key from the adamant as well. Canaria Locked is not in its location, but Marsh Locked is, and it gives you access to just a couple more chests and spike tiles to check between Northwest Castle and Temple of Fiends. So that'll be good for our runners to be able to have that quick. Lock 2 going out lower in Carrie's defenses. Beefy Carry, yeah, absolutely. Fade coming out. Another Fade coming out. Block 2 coming out. See the big black belt get a big swing here on this turn. Yeah, it looks like he's just going to wait, fight, wait, Fade. And that Fade takes out Carry. So congratulations to Cheesenator for getting the first Fiend kill at about 16 minutes.
Yeah, going through there, getting that carry down. Good job here. Now, one thing, if you did watch week 1, our stats on bosses for week 1 only went to 180. For free enterprise this week, it is actually going up to 250%. So the bosses can roll quite a bit nastier than they did for all of our races last week.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly why we see, a nasty carry as Cheesenator now goes, I believe, back to the Third Eye grind. I don't think it's his first visit there. And Chadbart's going to pick up the crystal on his. All right, so we're starting to see runners kind of exhaust these early inner sea checks. Rod is going to be there in Marsh Locked, which opens up a Lich and therefore Crescent Lake for us as well. After that, I don't think we've seen any of our runners go to Ordeals or Waterfall yet. Those are going to be good checks. Waterfall, obviously, on the way to Sea Shrine. There's not going to be an incentive chest in Sea Shrine, but it's nice to have Waterfall along the way. We already know, again, that the dud location is going to be Bottle, so everywhere else, while not necessarily required, is going to give us something useful at the bare minimum.
Yeah, you've got to, again, you get the XP bonus for hunting down all of these key items, plus, just getting it out of your mind so you can find that go mode. We have the slab. I don't even think anybody has bothered with our translation as of yet. As few times as you can set foot in the Melmon, the better.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot less onerous when the random encounters are turned off, just because you don't have to worry so much about the encounter steps. But it's still a long walk even without encounters. So yeah, if you can deduce through, doing all of your other checks that, hey, this isn't worth my time, then fantastic. Chadbert over on our top left screen, I believe the first person going into the Northwest Castle locked room, he's going to get 3 chests in there and a couple spike tiles to check as well. The left and right spike tiles are the same. The middle spike tile that he just checked is different. Nothing too exciting so far. Certainly nothing as good as that Third Eye grind over there in Ice Cave. I think, what may not be appreciated if you're unfamiliar with Final Fantasy Randomizer is that to find that really good 3-eye spike tile over there in Ice Cave, our runners do have to go a little bit out of the way. There's a warp trick where you can kind of hop back down a level and then warp back up to get to access to all 3 chests if you need to check them very quickly. Can't do it in the base game because warp is available after Ice Cave. But again, some of the things in this flag set force our runners to go against their randomized instincts, like not being able to go to Sarda and early. And similar to this, you go out of your way a couple times in Ice Cave and a couple of other dungeons just so you can check those spike tiles and see what's out there. And if you do that, you're potentially rewarded with something as good as this Third Eye grind, which is very easy to kill, lots of XP. And while I'm giving that explanation, Cyrnus notches his first Fiend kill as Lich goes down on his screen.
Yep, gonna turn into a slab. Can't help but think he's gonna probably make a beeline for Crescent Lake almost immediately after to get that other free key item.
Yeah, I think so. Cheesenator already at level 30, making great use of that spike tail. We're seeing, thanks to this really accessible and easy to accomplish grind in Ice Cave, I think we're going to see our runners who find that spike tile hitting mid to potentially high 30s, depending on how safe they want to be. Very, very. So we could easily be seeing sub 45-minute flags for some of our top tier runners here tonight.
Oh yeah, this is the free enterprise flags have the potential to be extremely, extremely quick. Like this is one of those where you're going to easily for many seeds see under an hour, and this is one of those where your 40-45s are definitely not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably 50 to 55 minutes is going to be sort of your average range for most runners. But again, this is a speedy seed. You're getting a lot of those progression items very early, and you found some really great XP. You don't need a whole lot more than that. Cyrnus did find pro rings there in Crescent Lake, along with Exit and another life spell. As far as Black Magic, you can get Quad X. He'll probably pick up a copy of that. And he's going to go check out the Sages. But again, between gold plus 4, I think, or gold plus 2, and then pro ring plus 5, you've got quite a bit. Now, our stream was a little pixelated. I couldn't tell what that was.
I do believe that was the incentive ribbon.
Incentive ribbon. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so that's important. I think you're probably, especially with the party 4, potentially looking for 2 ribbons if at all possible. But since you especially with Life 2 and 2 casters of it, you can make it work with just 1. So that's sort of, again, the question of what is your minimum viable party? What do you feel confident in? What do you think is going to be able to handle the fiends at these levels? Because even though you don't have random encounters in Temple of Fiends to burn charges on. Sometimes you're just going to get beat by the Fiends. They're going to back row your white mage. They're going to, bane you through a ribbon or whatever it is. And get the Oxyale from Cyrannus. We are very close to go mode, if not in it. I'm trying to, again, take a look.
I do believe we actually are in go mode. We have our key and our loot, and we have all of our access for our dungeons we need. At this point, it's just getting those levels and getting through those last fiends. Yeah,
Cyrannus doesn't have the tail yet. At this point, I'm not seeing anything that would suggest getting the tail is necessary, especially since we had Life 2 so easily accessible to our red mage. I think you just kind of barrel through and don't bother with promotion. Yeah, it doesn't take too long, but
yeah, the only downside that we've seen so far is Temper was at level 7 in Gaia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the only mitigation to that is since our gauntlet is an incentive item, I think you just hunt it down. You're not really going to be tempering anyone besides your black belt anyways. They do have Invis too. I know it was white mage learnable. I'm not sure if it was red mage learnable as well. But you can have your black belt switch between defense and cast. Cyrannus and Wappy both kind of high-fiving going back to that spike tile. Chadbert takes down Lich. He's already level 20 around the 22-minute mark, so he's a little bit behind in terms of leveling, but he, just like everyone else, has one orb lit at this point, so well done to Chad. Cheesenator giving us our first look at the randomized pillars of teleportation in Castle Ordeals. He makes quick work of it, though, with that level 1 warp spell. You can always warp back if you mess it up. 2 trolls in that spike tile. Nothing to write home about.
Yeah, at this point, spike tiles are well out of the way, especially with most of our runners on stream, all running black belts. That there's really not much you're going to see better than the third eye, other than maybe a red giant agama or full worms.
Yeah, absolutely, and we do see the power bunk there, so that's going to be really good, useful information for Cheese. You can see he didn't check a single one of those chests, and those are some of the easiest chests to check in the game. But it is totally viable in this flag set to just throw on this gold bracelet and pro ring. Call it.
Yeah, at this point, you've got your grind tile, you've got your power overwhelming, you've got a pro ring 5, a gold 4, a ribbon, and your power bonk, and a defense sword. You can just one-man wrecking crew, and the black belt can, at a good enough level with a decent enough, fair topher, can easily just one-man right through the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheese going back now to grab the rod and go take on Lich. He's the only runner on screen without Lich taken care of. Not going to be too much of an issue. I think what'll be interesting to see from our runners is, do they bother to get their black belt up to 42 for that extra additional hit, or are they going to settle for 32 and go there? I know that in my own practice, 32 has generally been enough, but yeah, as soon as you get to 42, black belt it's so unstoppable. It is. The unstoppable force meeting very movable objects, even with some pretty tanky 2 fiends.
Yeah, a 42 black belt, especially if you get a fast off to them, will mostly be one-shotting about every fiend, even on 250 with nearly the max rolls, because that when you start hitting the fast plus all the hits and possible crits, that's when you start getting to 4-digit numbers with 2 at the beginning, and it's very easily reachable damage.
Yeah, now chat informing me, again, I'm having a little trouble seeing our screen. I think my internet is having some issues and it's being a little wonky, but informing me that Wappy is indeed a level 48. It is one thing in this game to have your levels match the time allotted. It is another thing entirely to be doubling up the allotted time. This is genuinely, Wap, you might get a sub 40 on this one. This is going to be really fun. I can't imagine Carrie is going to have quite as much success against these Warriors of Light this time.
Yeah, and the sub 40 is on the table here. At this point, it all comes down to what does Warmac have? What does Kraken 2 have? What does Chaos have?
Yeah, and I think too with that black belt at 42, you don't have to bother going for the bonk. You just stick to the fast and go to town. What did Bottle turn into? Asked the Elmarkin. Turned into a pure. We're skipping out tonight, that fairy.
I mean, the fairy's just looking out for you. Doesn't want you to go run around poisoned.
Greg Lipus saying Seer with the 3-eye vanilla-ish tile. Yeah, we've seen a lot of that 3-eye grind tonight.
Yeah, French vanilla, not quite on this vanilla tile, and there's multiple of them, but it's, you know, adjacent. It's on the other side of the other chest.
She's there to go and check out Waterfall. Not sure what he's hoping to find there.
According looks like on the tracker, Cheese might still be looking for the key.
Okay, now, Carrie does survive one hit from JoJo, but not two, and that is the second fiend for Wappy up on the board. Yeah, at this point, it is just going to be go. Be no looking back.
Looks like Wappy's coming in. Looks like our next stop is going to be Sky. So we are going to be able to see our good friend, the robot chicken. Let's go see if he's more of a chicken or an emu tonight.
Again, I think, you know, with level 48 black belt chicken. Unless Warmack has something just particularly nasty in store.
Let's see some max evade. Let's see some max evade and max absorb.
Even then, I mean, he's got lock 2 pretty handily, plus that fast. There's not a whole lot to be done against you know, that force of nature.
Looks like Cheese is going to go ahead and just dive down, get a Kraken out of the way. So we got a little bit of divergence on our in-game dungeons on the right-hand side of our screen here.
Yeah, I'm excited to see our first look at Carry again. At these flag sets, even Carry 1 can really be a gatekeeper, especially if you haven't gotten good enough levels. I think Cheese is going to be leveled enough that it's not going to matter, as we see Wappy go ahead and pull the required Warmack. But we're going to get two very telling fights on screen here at the same time. Gonna bring out that defense 4 charge as Warmack brings out a Blizzard. Some decent damage. Black Mage is gonna survive, but not by much. Cheesenator throwing those Brackstrats out on Carry. We're seeing quite a bit of damage down there on Wappy's side as the Black Mage goes down. Fire 3 coming out. Not gonna be enough, and sure enough, Paunch from Black Belt. I mean, what are you gonna do about it? Like, nothing to be done for that Warmack except just kind of give over to the power punch.
Yeah, you can have all the steel armor plating you want, but sometimes fists just win.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing right now from Wappy is what we're going to be seeing for the next 5 Fiend fights between, or 6, I guess, between Carry 1 and then all the Fiends Revisited in Chaos, and it's just going to be punch, fast, lock 2, you know, or defense, fast, lock 2. Tiamat is going to take a swing and knock down that Red Mage. Again, not that big of a deal. You can pretty easily man mode with that Black Belt. It is, you know, one argument for searching out the Power Gauntlet if you need it. But I'm not sure at this point Wappy has anything but blood in his eyes and just going to charge straight to Temple of Fiends after the carry kill. He takes down Tiamat, and Cheesenator simultaneously takes down Carry for his second orb. Wappy is about to go take down Carry as his last one. Again, blazing through this seed. I think it is very possible that unless something really nasty happens in Topher, that we're going to see something.
Yeah, Cheese stumbled a little bit on Kraken. Kraken taking quite a few more punches than one would expect, but I don't think Wappy is going to have the same experience here.
Yeah, thank you. I think I said Carry. Thank you, Burt Reynolds, for correcting me. Words are hard. They both start with a K. It's close enough.
Well, we do have a carry going on. Chadbird taking down Carry. Now, Carry did roll of Carry 1 rolled surprisingly tough here, way up on hit points and quite a decent spell list to her too.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's just like what are you used to and what are you expecting? You know, Carry for me is not one of the ones I'm ever expecting to be bad. I'm always like mindset focused on Kraken and Tiamat as potentially the early gatekeepers. Yes, something like this where Carry has rolled high and has some nasty spells. It'd really catch you off guard if you decided to disrespect carry, as it were, and not give it your all with your party. You know, maybe just kind of take the easy way out and hope for a quick defeat anyways, which I think is exactly what happened to Wappy earlier. Just a little bit of bad luck and not being prepared for a nasty carry fight. And just like that, again, no RNG makes that trip through the left half of the Sea Shrine real quick, as less than a minute and a half in from entering on rack, Wappy is pulling Kraken and looking to do a lot of damage. First things first, gonna take out that Black Mage, no problem, one hit. We're gonna see some fades and punch, fade and defense, so building up that defensive, yeah, so we're seeing Ruse there, and we're seeing punch, 8-10 off that first hit. Gonna do some damage to the Red Mage, but not nearly enough. And a second hit for 11:45, it looks like, takes down Kraken, and Wappy is at the 32-minute mark, ready to go to Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Yeah, Wappy with 4 Fiends down, just gotta go back and do it all over again and again. Temple of Fiends, usually something you gotta make sure you're 100% prepared for, but again, no random encounters, quite a different story.
Cheeseinator now going to Marshall Locked. He's going to find the rod down there. That's the only thing he was missing, I think. Oh, he got it earlier. I was making that up.
No, unfortunately, this was a nasty chain that was required Earth Double Dip. You had to dip down, kill Vampire, get the Adamant to go turn into the key, to go back to Marshlock and get the rod.
Aha. Alright, yeah, so we see down there Wappy just kind of making sure he's got golds on everyone. See if he goes for the pro rings in Crescent Lake. No, he's got to go fast. He has got to go fast, and at the levels that he's got, I think it's well earned. It is a little bit risky, especially with only one ribbon. But I think given the levels he has, you know, you only really need that. So at the 33-minute mark, Wappy is in Temple of Fiends and gunning for that sub 40 that he set in his sights.
Yep, so at this point you're going to have just a few fights left. You're going to have these Sahags on the trap tile, you're going to have 4 Fiends, and you're going to have Chaos, and it's going to be nothing else. So just keep your fingers crossed, and let's see what Toe first decided to roll for us today.
Again, he sort of settled in for okay, 7 to 10 minute slog through Temple Fiends, but again, it's a nice casual stroll with no random encounters. Get to take a nice look at the architecture, enjoy the winding halls. It's very nice. We have runners all over the place right now between Waterfall, the Sea Shrine, and Earth as well. And we're going to see Lich 2 come up there on Wappy's screen. I think it looks like he's just going to keep the Black Mage in the first spot the whole time. I think that's a fine idea. Honestly, you might even just, like, holy cow, comes out with 2,000 damage. Take that Lich 2 out with Prejudice.
And nothing but bone dust left after that speed bump.
Good lord. All right, and seconds later, going to pull up Carry 2. Again, you know, we've got a pretty tried and true formula as Carry 2 takes out the Cure 4 very first thing. 1,400 damage right off the top. Unreal. Yeah, sure enough, second hit. I think that's what it's going to be. Probably, maybe even through Tiamat. I mean, we'll see if Kraken does any different. But man, 2 hits is all you're going to need for these high-tuned monsters.
If you're a fan of Seeds trolling out the runners a little bit, at this point you're hoping for probably a Death Touch or a Stone Touch, or it's not happening. Still, Wappy going to respect Kraken a little bit. Going to go ahead and pull out the defense sword and the ruses here. Want to play a little bit safe and sorry. Ooh, Rub comes through, but does not kill the Red Mage.
God, Lord, 1749 as Kraken 2 goes down. Wappy has made this look like an absolute cakewalk on the way to pulling Tiamat 2.
Yeah, just no stop. Life 2, bring up the floor tank in the front, and just absolutely just keep going.
Yeah,
Foot on
and
the gas.
It's worth noting too, the other runners on our screen are not doing a bad job by any means. This is genuinely like run of a lifetime for Wappy. Just like everything falling into place, making a lot of great decisions, and just burning down these fiends. As Inferno takes the black mage out and puts the red mage in jeopardy. Now, again, definitely can attempt chaos with just the black belt. Don't want to. Jojo gonna get that punch off, and yeah, sure enough, gonna have the full party going into chaos. I can't imagine this is gonna be too difficult. We haven't seen any nukes or nuclear or anything particularly bad from any of the fiends. We did see Cure 4 get removed from that pool, thanks to Carry 2, but some of those really nasty spells we haven't seen. I think what you're worried about isn't necessarily Jojo going down, because it's gonna take quite a bit for that black belt to die, but you just want to make sure that you get all those sort of buffs onto your black belt before the red mage or the black mage go down.
Yeah, you're just going to need to get at least the fast out, maybe one lock 2, and then you're going to be good to go. At that point, it's just making sure you don't get 3 and 256, because even with complete immunity, the game still has a 3 and 256 chance for any spell can still affect you. So you never know, something could always get through that ribbon, but it's just, whew, even though now those swings starting to come.
Yeah, and I mean, he's already punching for 1,000, 800. Now, the black mage is going to take a hit and go down. I don't think Wappy is too worried about it. And I mean, just unbelievable. Official SRL time of 37:21. Get those GGs out in chat, because Wappy just absolutely demolished the week 2 flag set. GGs, Wappy. Well done. Incredible race. We're going to see if we can't get him in here to talk that over. That was extremely, extremely good time. All right, we see a lot of action going on as well. Cyrannus in the bottom left taking on Warmech, going for his final fiend kill, as is Cheesenator just a little bit ahead of him. Chadbur a little bit behind there, taking on the Sea Shrine. Found a Spike Tile there, going for the 3rd fiend kill, but the Spike Tile is giving a little bit of trouble, it looks like.
Yeah, just having to slowly punch through these R-Hydras here, unfortunately. Everybody else is taking a break, taking a siesta.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if he's using this a little bit as a grind tile. I don't think Chadbur ever found that 3rd eye grind. I don't think he went out of the way for it. So yeah, it looks like he's, to some extent, going to grind on this. Or maybe he's just healing back up now. But Cheesenator's got his 4th kill and is going to, I think, stock up on gold rings here in Canaria and then town.
Yep, one last shopping trip and then a quick leisurely stroll with a couple of bumps in between, and we'll see if Cheese can put together some time and see how close that 37:21 we can get.
All right, and we are joined by Wappy 103 GG on one of the most exciting races we've had so far in the Fall League.
Yeah, absolutely. GG's, Wappy. It looks like Wappy's probably sorting out some headset issues here real quick.
Yeah, looks like it. Well, we will get him here in just a second. Cheesenator has entered Topher, and let's hear it. Got to be hopping in. Cyrannus not too far behind, though, just a little bit behind going into Topher. Again, we're going to see them blaze through this early part because there is no RNG random encounters going on, so you can just stroll right on past. We'll see how quickly they go. Wappy telling us his headphones aren't working. We'll see if we get it sorted out. But if not, I'm sure once our next couple runners finish here soon, we'll be able to and the broadcast booth as well. Cheesenator's moments away from pulling Lich too. Cyrannus hot on his heels, not too far away, as Chadbert continues this red D grind, although it looks like it might be done and heading towards Kraken now. And that sounds like we've got Wappy. Hello, GG.
Thank you.
Awesome, welcome. How you feeling?
Yeah, feeling pretty good.
Just pretty good?
I mean, are you excited to run this seed for... Wait, what do you mean it's over already?
Yeah, I figured the winner would be sub 40, so...
Yeah, no, that was...
I didn't expect to be 3 minutes under 40, but...
Yeah. You made the pretty quick call to go to Ice Cave, and that obviously paid off in spades with that third eye grind. When you found that, what kind of became your target in terms of finishing the seed as fast as possible?
Well, I didn't have all my key items yet, and I didn't have any heal pots. So I was just burning my fade charges and then trying to get out. And I had intended to cast Life 2 and bring the Black Mage up and warp back out, but c'est la vie, I forgot to leave a charge. Or the Red Mage died? I can't remember.
Yeah, I could see you walking it out, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I thought warp was level 1.
Yeah.
You got out. You did get out.
So was Fade. So.
Yeah, now we did just see something that I don't think you saw because you killed it too fast, but Carrie did just throw out a nuclear on Cheesinator there. You avoided pretty much all the bad stuff just by virtue of punching them so hard that they exploded by turn 2 pretty much every time except for Chaos.
Yeah, you definitely want to go level 50. Like, that's a conscious choice. That is...
Yeah, that was
when I were
practicing,
and if you're only 42, there's a great chance you just die before your black belt can get his ruse up. His Kraken 2 can just delete. He can do 800 plus damage. So you gotta go to 42. Or gotta go to 50, excuse me.
Right. Yeah, and so we're definitely seeing some Kraken 2 action, as you mentioned it, on both Cyranus and Cheesinator. We definitely have a race for this next spot. Wappy did finish first overall. I think we need to clarify with that 37-minute, 21-second. But Cheesinator and Cyranus still fighting for some of the top spots. This is Mario Kart-style scoring, and so there's a heavy premium given to those runners who especially finish in the top 4 or 5. They get a real nice bonus to their points. And so Wappy's definitely going to be, stacking that TIFD lead just a little bit with this unbelievable run. Cheesinator has already moved on to Tia 2 as Cyranus is finishing off Kraken 2, and Chad Burt is, it looks like, grinding some of his other characters a little bit on these R-Hydras to get some more levels before he takes on Kraken.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chad Burt not coming across that third eye tile, having skipped by it in favor of just going straight for the incentive chest there. But we've got dueling Kraken 2 fights here, and I can't say enough here, Wappy, about that. I mean, that was a 37-21, considering it was a required Earth double dip and the death to carry one.
Yeah, that was... I knew I was going to die there, but there was maybe 5% chance I kill him. Like, if I get those defenses up, maybe a black belt and the fast charge goes off. Maybe I can kill him.
Yeah. Now, there were a lot of those inland sea items that you got right at the start. You had a ton of places you could feasibly go at the beginning. What kind of things were you thinking about to help guide your routing choices there right at the start?
I mean, just kind of group turn-ins together. So, I got the herb. I also had the crown from that shop, which also gave me adamant or TNT, one of those two. So it's okay, I'll go sweep through those. And then I forget what came next. But then...
What's a Ruby?
I mean, ultimately I wanted nearly go mode before the grind, but you still have to do a little bit of a grind to get to a level that you can kill Lich 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I didn't want to go to Marsh until I had Key, if at all possible. I mean, really, these things kind of tree out from Earth Cave versus Marsh.
Yes, definitely.
Earth Cave is potentially 3 if you have the rod. If you don't have the rod, it's still 2 incentives. And Marsh is always 1, and sometimes 2 if you can get Key. So, that's really where your value is.
Yeah, and quick pause to say GG to Cheesinator, who has just taken down Chaos with official SRL time of 44 minutes, 41 seconds. We are joined by Cheesinator in the booth. Cheesinator GG, as Cyranus also takes down Chaos for an official SRL time of 45 minutes, 2 seconds, and 5th place overall. GG's to both of you, since Cyranus is also here. How'd you feel about the seed, guys?
Well, GG to Cyranus and Wappy and everyone else. Not gonna lie, I'm a little salty at how it went, given that I feel like I played really well, and then I just got burned by the Marsh versus Earth decision, and also that I randomly wiped to stone poison on the Marsh tile before I could even see what it was the first time around, so I had to be in Marsh 3 times.
Yeah, I do not believe we saw anyone else see that. That was phenomenal luck on your part, Cheese.
I actually saw it and used it because only one of my guys got hit, and that's how I brought my red mage back.
Did you? Good for you, man.
It was It's kind of amazing. So
Yeah, listen, sometimes you just gotta roll with the luck that you get.
Yeah, I don't know. I was practicing this flag set a lot. It seemed initially like a little bit of Chaos Rush translated to it, and of course I knew Wappy was going to be able to exercise a lot of that skill. You do kind of need to play minimalist, but I practiced both the 3-person and the 4-person party with the White Mage, and ultimately I didn't want to miss exit because unlike like random encounter based seeds or whatever, there's a whole lot of other considerations, but in this flag set it's like walking time. It's how long are you spending getting out of waterfall, out of earth, out of marsh, out of ice cave, etc. So
Yeah.
I don't want to miss out on exit pretty much. And it happened to be that there were 2 level 1 fades, so the White Mage was actually a good pickup.
Yeah, definitely. With times like this, every single decision matters. Think Wappy. You had some extremely good setup for running black belt, black mage, red mage, none. I'm sure you must have been beaming as soon as you saw Life 2 and Fade learnable there at the start. But yeah, having the exit, this is certainly not a bad magic seed by any means. Black magic could have been a little bit better, sure, but all around not a bad time. That 3 or 4.
yeah, I mean,
had any of y'all experimented with? Yeah, absolutely. Had any of y'all experimented with 2-man parties in practice?
yes, and I don't recommend it. The clamped enemies tend to not die from 1 sweeper, even if it's nuke. So you need 2 spellcasters.
Mm-hmm.
The random enemies aren't clamped, but regardless, with the clamp on the bosses, like you need bodies to die to Kraken, right? Otherwise, you're gonna like lose to battle RNG. So that was one of my main reasons for going actually 4 instead of 3 or 2.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I think in my own practice, I found something similar where it's just like it makes the grind up a little bit more annoying, but it gives you that extra little bit of protection. No, I know. I mean, even Wappy, your red mage got her. No, never mind. I'm thinking of a different fight, so never mind. As we see, sorry, getting distracted by Chabert taking on Warmack. Cyrus, I'm not sure if you are here with us or if you can hear us. Did you have any thoughts?
I'm just thinking back, and I'm finally remembering where Fast was and that I didn't pick it up because I didn't have money at the time.
That's a tough one.
And then I went
3.
looking for it, thinking, okay, maybe it's at level 8, and I totally forgot where I had seen it there in Elf.
Cyrus, I'm guessing we had drastically different runs despite our similar times because you had like 1,000,000 levels, you had a master in your party, there was a bunch of stuff and of course it sounds like you didn't buy Fast, so like we somehow must have diverged wildly and then converged within 20 seconds of each other.
Yeah, I had promoted because I didn't have Fast, and I thought, oh, it must be at level 8, completely forgetting that I had saw it, just didn't have the money for it at the time.
Yeah, see, that's exactly the kind of thing that I would do, and hence why I take written notes, because I would do that every other if I wasn't making mental notes, stuff like that.
I was trying a little bit, but not super hard to Dan my Black Mage for the grind because of just getting the Black Belt to 32 plus faster, but then the eyes did not do nearly enough damage, and I didn't feel like going and running around on the ice lava on the floor below, so I just kind of went with the 4-person grind to 32. Used up every single remaining charge I had 2 times in a row to get there, but I mean, I didn't want to look for a better grind than the 3 eyes.
Yeah, after hitting 32, I did Volcano, and I danned the Black Mage in Volcano, and then was like, all right, I'll go back to Ice and just burn off my charges to hit 42, because it's only going to take like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I guess I did do the Volcano in between going back to Ice to pick up on more key items, so that would have been a good idea.
Quick update on the rest of our runners. Again, Wappy did finish in first place, official SRL time of 37:21. We didn't give shouts to Dengwu in second place and Zenobian in third place, followed by Cheesenator and Cyrus in fourth and fifth. Since then, we have also had Life Reboot finish with a time of 49:12 in 6th place. So GG to Life Reboot, to Zenobian, and to Dengwu, who we didn't get a chance to shout out. GG to everyone and to their teams as well. And Chabert is going to light the 4th orb. Air is done and going to be on the way, it looks like, to Temple of Fiends. For tasking checks, GG to all was the gap to second. Wappy had 37 minutes, Dengwu had 41, so it was just a little under 4 minutes, which, and it seems like this is just a massive gap.
Yeah,
Again,
was definitely a great call for this, at least with the way Magic landed here. Even just like Black Belt Red would have been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't incorporated rerolls into this flag set, and of course now I won't because this is the last time I played in the tournament. But because in Chaos Rush and this flag set, I like to always start Airship to Matoya to get free money. So that I can actually buy stuff at the first few towns. And because I do that even before entering the town, I don't get the whole check the magic shop reroll for the magic. So in like a different kind of flag set, I would have seen Fade Life 2 and been like, heck it, let's go triple red, right? It's like so good, but oh well.
Yeah, I know some of the folks on our team were experimenting at the start with going quickly to Cardia Island and doing a few checks until you had like a nice little, sum of cash. I think in the long run it slows you down more than it actually helps. But I did like your sort of meet halfway on that and just hopping over Matoya and seeing what you could get. But not a bad play at all. That was really interesting thing. You were certainly the only one to.
It made a lot more sense in Chaos Rush because the shops had more interesting things in them. Like if you got a pile of cash from Matoya, you could go into the shop and then buy a ribbon or an opal bracelet in Caneria. So we'll see that in 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah. Next week is going to be Shard Hunt.
Yeah.
All right, Chadbert pulling Lich 2. We are at the 53-minute mark. You got the full party up, doing plenty of damage with that black belt. Not quite as much as that 4850 black belt was doing over on Wappy's screen, but still no slouch. But that Lich is a pretty tanky one. So we're going to see a couple Fire 3 casts, and we're going to see some more punches from black belt. 346 stays up. Fire 3 comes out 85. That'll take care of the Lich 2 encounter, and Chabert is ready to move to carry 2. Now, earlier, Wappy was talking about how, for him, the goal is a 50 black belt. Cheese and Cyrus, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on, when you start a seed, what is your goal? Is it just like 32 minimum, and then we'll kind of see where we go from there? Or are you thinking higher, and then just kind of adapting as you go?
I like to get the black belt to 35 before Warmech, and ideally on 3 characters, land the experience for Warmech, and get the black belt to 42 cresting around Kraken 2 or Tiamat 2. Unfortunately, this time I wasn't successful in danning, so I just went with the 32 to mid-30s plan instead. But yeah, sure, if I were doing 2 characters, I would go to 50.
Yeah, I'm usually aiming for 42 on this flag set. I've tried 32 a couple times, and a lot of times it just doesn't quite get the job done.
Yeah, I think, anytime... There are times where it works, but I think you also have a pretty high chance to lose whatever time you would have made up not grinding in a wipe or in just not going through Topher as quick, because, with the huge EXP stacking on this set, you can really easily get those levels without too hard.
I think I went from 35 to 50 in 3 fights, so... It was
so fast. I didn't even realize that it happened. I was having a little bit of pixelation on my screen, and so I had to be reminded by chat that, yes, you had indeed hit 48 very quickly before you went on, and it was just like, oh no kidding, okay, good for Happy.
Because I guess if you did the early Earth play, you actually got a lot more key items rather than duds front-loaded, so you would have been having much better scaling for your grind.
Well, Wappy went back.
I did 2 grinds.
Yeah.
I went to 20 so that I could take care of Lich and finish out my key items, and then came back.
Yeah, Wappy, I remember commenting on it. You hit 20 around the 8-minute mark.
Yeah.
Wait, where'd you hit 20? Like which grind?
All right, Ice Cave.
3 ice.
What? Wow, that's an early ice cave.
I was down to either Vampire Chest or Ice Cave or Marsh. So I didn't want to go to Marsh without the key.
Yeah.
Because that's only
Yeah.
1 check instead of 2 checks, which is what Earth is.
I just did Marsh early because of the proximity to like all the other inner sea fetch quests and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what I normally would do too. So, you know, I was a little surprised to see Wappy go over to Ice Cave, and then, man, it just paid off so dang quick.
I mean, we had warps, so like Ice Cave was easy.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of, I don't know, it seemed like I ran 3 or 4 practices today because I really hadn't practiced all week. But like maybe 1 or 2 seeds. Well, it was more than that, but it seemed like Ice Cave trap tiles kept paying out for me. So, and I know that that's like a logical fallacy. They're randomly generated, right? But I'm a human brain, so I saw a pattern and I went with it.
Listen, some people see Ice Cave, some people who shall remain nameless see early Marsh dives as a really great play, especially when items are loose. They're not in this booth right now, but I'm sure they're listening. You know, some people see different things and different patterns. I think that's part of it. You know, you just like, you kind of find the thing you're comfortable with and that feels right to you for each flag set the more you play it. Again, you know, that really paid off for you in spades tonight. Now, Chadbert, making decent work of Topher so far, not quite as quick as some of our other runners, but still really competent run here through Temple of Fiends Revisited, pulling Tiamat too, and see how this goes for him. We're getting a couple fades, we're getting Brack, very low chance, not quite as good as it is on Tiamat 1, still a decent chance, as down goes, oh no, was that his black belt? Yeah, I thought that was Heather, but no, I believe that is, maybe it is Heather. But that bodes poorly. Hopefully has enough fade charges to get through this. As the black mage gets stopped, the red and the white still have plenty of fade charges, but they're going to want to save at least 1 since Life 2 shares that spot. Going to start being a little bit defensive, throws a ruse out on the white mage. Tiamat is attacking it and missing. Still got plenty of fade charges on that white mage. Looks like 5. Fade comes out for 274. Fade comes out for 97. Not what you want to see. Tiamat swings and misses again, so that early defensive stacking is paying off quite well for Chadbert. Throwing out those Brack strats, though, a little bit on the Hail Mary side, but not much else that black mage is going to be doing at this time. But it works, as Tiamat 2 goes down to Bracken. Wow. Good for Chadbert. So
Doesn't matter how low the chance is if it hits.
Yeah, if it hits, that's all that matters. While we're waiting for Chadbert to pull Chaos, GG's to Jay Scheidel, 7th place with a time of 56.26, and Rob Draven, DVS in 8th place with 57.13, and Rob Draven is in 9th place. We have someone in chat asking about the sprites. What is it from? I actually will confess to not knowing. I know this is the Valkyries of Light. No, this is because Valkyries of Light sprite pack has the Final Fantasy II border, doesn't it?
Well, these are the Valkyrie of Light sprites. They have
yeah.
no correlation with the Modern Battlefield Fun flag.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, Chadbert pulling Chaos, taking those Invis 2s early. Kind of looking around for spells that this white mage can cast. I think wants to save perhaps those Fade or Heal 2 spells, maybe. Seems to be searching quite a bit. Doesn't have quite a clear plan on what he wants to do. Ruse comes out, Lock 2 from the black mage, good. Defense 4 on the black belt, yeah, that makes sense. And more Ruse, just kind of making those mages harder to hit. Chaos can go for that white mage first, makes sense there in the top slot. Doesn't do enough damage to kill though. We're gonna see a Heal 3 come out. Another Lock 2 and a Punch in the black belt. Not doing too much damage just yet, but he's gonna start to build that up. I didn't see if Chad got the Power Gauntlet from Ordeals, or if he's relying on a few temper charges.
Unfortunately, Black Mage is going to be on the floor, so some of those temper charges are gone.
yeah, not going to matter too much. Fire 3 not doing too much damage against this Chaos. 341, it looked like, from the black belt, so that's getting to it. That's definitely not a bad number. Going to take a little bit longer. 319, I think I saw Fire 3 coming out again. Doing chip damage there as the heal 3 comes out from the white mage, topping everybody off a little bit. I can do a lot of healing, but it'll make sure that they have a little bit more in the tank. Black belt comes out, not too much damage. 2 hits for 2 damage from, I think that was the red mage. That's not what you want to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly how much HP Chaos has. Unfortunately, we didn't get a very good damage range when the damages are usually in the 15 to 1700 punches. It's a little hard to gauge.
Yeah, when the only clear answer is less than he needed, it's hard to get a feel for it. Black belt not getting that consistency he wants with the high rolls, hitting again for a low 100 there. Fade coming out. Another punch from the black belt. 319, and that'll do it. GG's to Chadbert, our final on-stream finisher. 10th place at the time of 1 hour, 1 minute, and 50 seconds. Get your GG's out in chat for Chadbert. Well done, my friend. Good job, and we'll see if we can't get Chadbert in the booth as well.
Yeah, absolute GG to all of our runners. I mean, 101 being your last on-screen finisher. This shows you how quick these free enterprise seeds can just fly by.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it is both very fun, but also very stressful, and it can be really punishing to even minor mistakes. It really puts, a lot of weight in terms of, again, what is the minimum viable party that I think I can get away with, and how quickly can I get to that spot? So like I said, we'll see if we can get Chadbert in the booth here. But until then, Cheese, Wappy, either of y'all have some other thoughts about the seed, what you want to see from some of our other runners this week? Words of advice or inspiration? Anything you'd like to add to the commentary?
Just go Trash Island Fire Department.
Yeah, go Team Cheese Fries.
Now, Cheese, you'll have to help me out. What place is your team in coming into this week's races?
We were tied for 5th or 4th or something. I don't know. The Gregley Puff thing really messed up my perception of the scores. But yeah, so I think at best I maintained our current position.
Still, again, all these races are so competitive when you only have 4 races each week. Every single race is stacked top tier talent.
Yeah, especially tonight, every one of our races, every one of you guys is putting on an absolute show for us. I'm definitely going to have to go back to the drawing board and keep practicing my rear off, because I'm absolutely terrified of having to do my race this week now.
Yeah, I will definitely say I am not this fast. This is not my kind of flag set. I like a little bit more a patient, kind of drawn out seeds. I tend to do better at those than the gotta go fast, gotta think fast. I am dreading the Chaos Rush here in 2 weeks. I know that those are not going to be friendly seeds to me, but plenty of time left to practice. It looks like we are going to try and get Chadbert here in the booth in just a second. So let's talk about what we've got coming up this week while we've got that going on. We have 3 more races of this flag set this week, so if you thought this was fun and want to see it, good news, you're going to see it 3 more times. We will have a Tuesday night at, I believe, 10 p.m. Eastern, Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, and then Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Check the Discord. Let me go ahead and ping that one more time. Check the Discord for that information. Let's see here. Okay, there we go, and we are joined by Chadbert. GG. How you feeling about the seed?
Ouch.
Yeah, walk us through. What was kind of going on for you?
Find any good grind tiles for black belt solo grinding. And when I did find something that kind of worked, they had stun touch, and they managed to do an infinite stun on my black belt, and lost a 5-minute grind.
Yeah, so we saw you there on the R Hydras there at the end. I think, unfortunately, what you missed is that off to the right of the incentive ice chest, there was the third eye grind that the rest of our runners found and were able to get up pretty quick. I don't think you ever saw that. I think you skipped through to get the crystal, I believe, from Ice Cave and didn't find that. So it put you at a little bit of a disadvantage there of some bad luck.
I found that it would have been a lot better off. Oh well.
Yeah, it's a very good grind tile. How about the rest of the seed? How did the routing feel to you?
In the grind tile issue, I think the routing was okay. I wouldn't have gotten anywhere near the top 5 in this one, but I at least was finding all the items somewhat quickly. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I still think 101 is absolutely nothing to shake a stick at. Very good time in a really competitive field. Especially, you know, when things move this fast, you just kind of have to take what you can get. I think, like I said, you did a good job routing. You got burned by not finding that spike tile in Ice Cave, but otherwise, you know, you handled a lot of stuff really well, and I think it was a really competent run through Topher, despite the grinding issues. You know, I think you made the best of it. So, nice job on that.
I did almost lose the Topher because of I believe it was Tia 2 down my black belt.
Yeah, it was close, but you know, you had plenty of resources with all the fades, and you know, savvily, you know, having buffed up your fighters beforehand, and then taking the fades out and the ruses, you know, it was again good adjustment to make sure that you were slayable.
I think I only didn't check like 5 grind tiles in the whole game, so.
Yeah, them's the dice sometimes, right? Like it's just. It's always the one that you forget. It's the one that you need. Okay, well, I think that starts to wrap things up. Again, I'd like to thank our trackers, Fryteeth and Shadowed Flames, and our restreamer, Dark Moon. Thank you all so much for helping out. Thanks as well to RPG Limit Break for hosting us. I'd like to toss it over to, one last time, Chad and Cheese and Wappy. Do you guys have any final thoughts for our stream before we close out?
No, just a thank you to all the organizers, the channel, the trackers, and comms as well. You all are putting on a great show for free, as always, so appreciate the volunteer effort.
Thank you. Chad, how about you?
Same thing. Thank everyone for running the stream, and GG to all the other runners and showing me how it's done.
And our first place finisher, Wappy, closing thoughts.
Same thing, but also go trash Highland Fire Department.
A well-deserved first place, one of the most electric runs I've seen in a while. GG's to Wappy, GG to Chad and Cheese. Thank you guys for stopping by the booth. Demon, how about you close us out for the night and we'll send things away.
Oh, absolutely. I want to thank you once again, all of our restreamer, our trackers, my fellow commentator, Groggy, give him a follow, all of our runners as well, and even our runners who are going off stream as well in this great race, this great series of races here in the fall. Stay tuned. We've got a lot more coming up. Especially you want more of this action, you want more fast seeds, you stop by Tuesday night. We got fast seeds galore for you. And we got a lot more action. We got more weeks coming up for you. And we want to thank you all very much for your time tonight and for tuning in. And everybody have a great rest of your evening.